Hey boys and girls, I've decided to make a larger version of that little print that I made in my previous video. I'm gonna make a big print. I just want to see what it looks like big. I really like it, 8 by 10. Does it hold its own at a much larger size? If it does, then I'm gonna frame it and stick it on the wall. Before I can make a print though, I need to make some tissue, so I thought you guys would maybe like to see how I do that. This is my pouring station. It's just a piece of galvanized sheet metal I bought from a hardware store, and it's glued down onto this thick board. I don't know what the heck it's called, MDS maybe. And it's just big enough to do my 14 by 17. Now I've always used Yupo as a tissue substrate. It's a little expensive, but I think it's worth it because I can use them over and over and over again. Like this one I've had for over 10 years. So first thing I need to do is adhere this to the surface here. First thing I'll do is I'll clean the surface with a sponge and warm water, and then I'll spray the surface with water, and then I'll lay the Yupo down. Then I'll spray the surface again. Squeegee it nice and flat. The next thing I do is I spray it with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. It's probably not really necessary, but it's just a habit I got into, just to make sure there's no greases or oils on the surface, maybe from my fingers. And then I use these little magnetic strips. Okay, so these will prevent the glop from spreading out further. Okay, I use about 250 mils of glop for this size of a tissue. Now if you have some bubbles, just blast it with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and just pour it. Ooh, it came out really fast. I'm pouring a little bit warmer than I normally do. I like it to be around 30 Celsius. I think it's closer to 40. It's a little bit on the runny side at that temperature. It also takes longer to set too. I like it to set up pretty fast. And when I was first starting out, I used to use a comb to spread the glop around. But that comb lost a lot of its teeth, so fingers are fine. Okay, so that's it. Now I just check the surface for any bubbles. If you see any bubbles, you can just pop them with your finger. I don't see any, so I'm just gonna let it set now. It seems to be set. A wooden skewer to help separate the edge of tissue from the magnetic strips. So that way when I remove the magnetic strips, the tissue won't tear. 1, 4. Now there's sometimes a little bit of seepage or leakage under the strips, so I just wipe them away carefully with a sponge. Now I just have to hang it up, but I carefully lift it up just to make sure it has set. If I don't see any rippling, we're good to go. Looking pretty good. And I just stick it up here with a bunch of thumbtacks. 3 usually does the job. There's nothing I can do now until the tissue is dried completely, and that probably won't be until tomorrow to help facilitate the drying process, or speed things up, I should say. I use this fan, and it does make a difference. Having a fan blowing a steady stream of air, cool air, onto a tissue speeds it up. If I didn't use this fan, it would be probably wouldn't be until Friday, a couple days. Tissue's dry. Time to sensitize. Okay, I'm all ready to go. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm wearing my respirator because it's quite a bit of sensitizer that I'm applying to this large tissue. I do 2 coats, 15 mils each. I use a 3% solution and I dilute that with acetone 1:1. I coat with the foam brush I got from the paint store. Get a good one. Do not go to the dollar store and get cheap ones because they're too coarse and they'll just scratch your tissue all up. Then I just kind of round off the corners here. Flip the fan on. Hope that's not too noisy. There's the sensitizer. Divide it up, 15 mils each. I like to pour along the edge rather than in the middle. Apply the second coat. Make sure you're wearing gloves when you're handling dichromates. Now I'll just hang up the tissue. Hey, this is what I use for my matte medium. It's from Opus, so it's an art store in BC. I mix it about 1:1 with some distilled water. I use a high density foam roller. And I mix it up, and then I just apply it. Use quite a bit of pressure at first, just to make sure it's all coating the entire paper, and then I'll just use light pressure, very, 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 very. Now, pretty much just the weight of the roller, and I'll keep rolling until the stippling look is gone. It's evened out. The first coat always goes in really quickly. And that's it for the first coat. I'll hang it up to dry. And it dries really quick, like 15 minutes. It'll be dry, and then I'll apply another coat, total of 4 coats. Now it's ready to develop in a hot water bath. The water's about 45 Celsius, and I just use a drift down method. By the time I've peeled the tissue away from the substrate, temperature's around 41, 42. So I will just let this sit for about 3 minutes. And I'll keep rinsing it, soaking it and rinsing it until no more black pigment runs off the print when I hold it up. It's almost there. And this last bath is a cold water bath, just to help set the gelatin. And I just keep it in here for a minute. It's long enough. What do you think? I like it actually. If you're interested in carbon transfer printing, just go to my channel and check out some of my videos. I've got quite a few actually. Take care you guys, I'll see you real soon.